Comedian, director, and Emmy Award winner Kamau Bell is making a return to comedy.
And I got two daughters. They can tell that the country's in a hectic place. One time I was watching the news and she came in the room and goes, "Are they still trying to figure out why Donald Trump is the president?"
Before his upcoming show in Davis, California, he stopped by The Observer to discuss his new act and share his thoughts on the results of election 2024.
Hi, Kamau. Welcome to the Sacramento Observer. Thank you so much for being here. We are so happy that we will be able to see you this Friday in Davis. How are you feeling about that?
I was feeling good up until about 12 hours ago.
Okay, you really want to talk about it, so let's talk about it.
I think my brand says I'm supposed to talk about it. I don't know how I wouldn't not talk
Well,
about it.
I want to talk about the comedy show first. Let's talk about the comedy show because we're excited to see you.
This will be a part of the comedy show. I mean,
Okay.
People know me as the person who talks about current events and has a perspective on the world and the country. And I certainly have commented on Trump throughout the years. So this is, I've been on the phone all day talking to people about it. And every now and again, one of my friends is like, "Oh, write that down. That's funny." So I go, okay. So,
Yeah, so that was my question. So you knew the comedy show was going to happen after the election. Did you write in something about this happening? What is this show going to look like for you?
I mean, so let's be clear. Most of the show is a show I've been working on in Berkeley at the Berkeley Rep for months now. I took a 5-year break from stand-up, came back in like late January, did an 8-week run at the Berkeley Rep, and it was all sold out. So I was like, oh, and it was fine. And then I did another 7-week run. It was all sold out, and that was great. And, I really sort of was like, oh, I think I'm doing this. And then also with everything going on in the world, it just feels like a time that I would say things. And, since I last did stand-up, last time I did stand-up, I had 2 children. Now I got 3. Last time I did stand-up, I had 0 teenagers. Now I have 1. So there's a lot of changes have happened in my life. And so it's a lot about my life and also being a Gen X dude in a Gen Z and boomer world. So it's a lot about being a member of my generation and being a part of the sandwich generation because my mom is 87 and my youngest daughter is 6 and I got to take care of everybody.
Yeah. So how are you going to, if you're going to input the results of this election into your...
I'm 100% going to do it. I don't know.
How are you going to do that?
Because
you've already done this show, right? So now you have to are you having to write in new materials or are you doing it off what's going on?
I mean, I've been talking about it all day. So every now and again I say something, I'm like, oh, that seems good. I'll write it down and I'll, it'll be hot off the presses. But my whole career sort of worked this way. I did a comedy show like 2 days after Obama won where I had to talk about that. I did a comedy show the day after Trump won in 2016. I had to talk about that. So this doesn't feel new to me. In some sense, it probably would be harder to talk about Kamala because it would have been a little more yay. But it's easier to talk about things when you're confused, frustrated, angry, sad, mournful, melancholy, desperate. Comedy works better in that format than whew, that was close. So yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about where were you last night when you got these results and what was that like?
I mean, I didn't stay up all night. I got 3 kids. So at some point it became clear that it wasn't trending our way, but the kids had to go to bed. So, that became my focus and I kept checking my phone out and it was clearly not trending our way. And then I went to bed with it still, there was all these people online being like, well, if Kamala wins this and if we turn Canada into a state, then we can get their electoral college votes. And
Canada into a state. I write that down.
Yeah. See, this is how it works. I didn't say that. I'd never said that before. So, so if that happens, so there's a lot of as we say, hopium. And then I woke up this morning and it was just the results were in. And so it was there was no debate. And I wasn't surprised. But then also you wake up, every parent had to do this. Man, or not every parent, half the parents in the country had to do this. Sorry, is that
That's me, but I don't know what's going
Kevin
on.
Hart?
That was not Kevin. That was my brother trying to call me.
Okay. So, I mean, half the parents in the country have to do this. We wake up and go, man, that sucks. Anyway, got to get these kids to school, got to pack lunches, got to make breakfast. So, my kids know, even my 6-year-old knows what's going on in the country. So she was not happy about it. My 10-year-old knows about it. My 13-year-old last night was like, I can't focus on my homework. And I was like, who cares about your homework? I don't have your teacher call me if they get mad at you about their homework. And my 10-year-old was like, what is that? Are we in trouble? Are we, she was scared for what's going to happen. And I had to say, look, luckily we live in California. Luckily we live in the Bay Area. Luckily we live in Oakland. All these things to make her feel better. And then this morning I found out California voted to keep slavery in the Constitution. So you go, oh, California's not really Californiaing the way I want it to. It voted to not raise minimum wage.
Yeah.
And now we're in Oakland. Now we're down a mayor and a DA. So we got to spend money that we don't have to elect a new mayor and a new DA. So, I sort of ended up lying to my daughter last night, but that's part of being a parent is there's a Santa Claus and California's going to be okay.
Okay. Is she 6 years old?
No, she's 10. She knows there's no Santa Claus.
Okay. Okay.
But she knows it. But she did know that if there was a Santa Claus, he'd be black, just in case Megyn Kelly's listening.
I sure hope Megyn Kelly's not listening. So you seem to use comedy really well to get through things. No, because that's what I'm feeling.
Don't we all do that? I mean, from what I can see,
I went to bed and cried. I had zero comedy. So how are you doing?
But I mean, I'm not saying I've been joking the whole time, but I think that, from what it looks like in this camera, you seem like a black person. I don't want to assume. And our people would not have survived in this country without comedy and the arts. And we took the sadness of America and turned it into blues music that you could dance to. So this is what we do, So I don't see myself as being any different than that. Very few people had a sadder life story than Richard Pryor, and yet he was the greatest American stand-up. We're the greatest stand-up comedian of all time. So I'm not comparing myself to the inventors of the blues, and I'm not comparing myself to Richard Pryor, but I say culturally, this is what Black people do, is we've been turning lemons into spiked lemonade since we got here.
Yeah. Where do you think we're headed? Will we be able to even talk to each other? Because I know some people I can't stand to see right now. So where are we even headed? Will we be able to have conversations, just regular conversations about what kind of apples we like?
Here's what I think is like, this is where I'm at today. First of all, take care of yourself. So that means mentally, physically, psychologically. I got a text from my therapist. So take care of yourself. I think we got to start here. I think then you take care of your family and the people who depend on you. Take care of those people. Once you knock that out, your friends and your wider community of people who depend on you and you depend on. Man, Kevin Hart was blowing you up. And then take care of your friends and your wider community. And then if you can get to your city, not everybody can get that far out there. Start figuring out how can I help my city in a way that doesn't involve politicians, but involves direct action, mutual aid, whether it's donation or I have this couch I don't need anymore. How can you help people in your city? So, but not everybody's gonna get all the way out the city. Some people's gonna be a lot just take care of themselves. Some people's gonna be me and my kids. And then as far as conversations with people, only have conversations with people who are worth conversating with is all I would say that. And I know you know the word conversate. I don't think
it's a word.
We learned last night that America is for sure a right-wing country, for sure. And right-wing politics does not vibe with Black people. Right-wing politics is what's got us here in the first place, if you know what I mean. So it doesn't benefit us, despite the Black Republicans or that black guy in the t-shirt that says Blacks for Trump. And we have to figure out how to navigate it. But we've literally been doing that our entire existence in this country, is navigating white supremacy. So, it's not going to be fun. And some of us may decide, I think it's the first time I've ever really heard a lot of people I think I might be done with this America experiment. Not celebrities, regular on the ground folks who are looking into other countries just to be not that it's going to be 100% better there, but they're just ready for a different flavor of racism.
I'm for sure ready for a different flavor of racism. So yeah. I've been looking at other countries. We'll see what happens though. So we all saw the exit polls. What do you have to say about the non-white people who voted for him?
I mean, what is it? It's like the Rick James line, cocaine's a hell of a drug. White supremacy is a hell of a drug. Mm-hmm. And I think that certainly, we're talking about a large number of Latino men voted for Trump, but not all Latinos see themselves as people of color. Yeah. That's just straight up. And even if they look brown to us, they don't feel brown to themselves. So I think that they Ted Cruz is Latino technically, but he ain't doing it. And there's a lot of Cuban immigrants or Cuban refugees, I should say, are right wing because of the government they came from. So I think that we have to understand that not everybody sees themselves in this sort of like, we've tried to create this BIPOC boat, the Black, Indigenous, people of color. And it's a leaky boat. It's a leaky boat. So especially when you, even in the Black boat, we have Black people who don't believe that Kamala was Black. So it's like all of this is like political calculations to try to sort of figure out how to defeat white supremacy. And we don't all have the same reason. Some of us feel like the way to defeat white supremacy is to join it. But I don't want to talk about Candace Owens. I'm here to talk about my show at Davis on Friday.
Candace Owens and a whole bunch of other people. But you know what?
Yeah.
Listen, you're here to talk about your show, and we love you, and we love to laugh, right?
We're laughing. We're laughing.
I am laughing. I am definitely laughing. That's why I said I need to do this today, because I needed a laugh. Okay. I was this close to not doing this today. I'm like, no, I need a laugh. Yeah. I need someone to make me laugh today. And you were the perfect person. So thank you so much for doing this with me. I guess one final question is like, why do you think comedy works so well to help us get through the tragedies in life?
So the way that it works, if you look at the history of comedy in this country specifically, the funniest group of people are often the most oppressed group of people. It is not an accident that the beginnings of comedy in this country is a lot of Jewish people, because that was fresh off of World War II. So the beginnings of stand-up comedy, the modern era of stand-up comedy, is like Lenny Bruce and Mort Saul and Joan Rivers, because Jewish people had just gone through it with World War II and the Holocaust. Black people have always been funny. We just weren't always allowed to perform in white spaces. So the most oppressed groups are often the funniest. As we've seen from Elon Musk, rich white men are not funny. People laugh at their jokes because they're rich white men, but they are not funny. So I think that the idea being that like that's humor is a defense mechanism to help you get through tense situations. I think it's a biological imperative to laugh at some point, because you can only cry so much, you can only scream so much, you can only yell so much. Humor is just another way to get through the painful times. It is no accident that all of America's popular culture comes from Black folks, because we were squeezed so hard that something had to come out other than pain, and that has been all of America's popular culture. So I think, what else would we do if not use humor to get through these times? And, that's why I wanted to come back to stand-up comedy, because it helps me get through the times too. And I think of funny things to say and I share them with people and they laugh. It makes me feel better. And the great part is now my kids are old enough to understand what I do. So sometimes I bring my kids and they are a part of the show with me. We'll see what happens in Davis. I'm not making any promises, but my kids are funny. They got a couple bits. They're talented. So we'll see how Davis acts. We'll see if my kids come on stage with me.
Well, I'm hoping Davis act good, because I want to see them, and I want to see them in their element with you. So that would be beautiful.
Are you coming to the show?
Yes, I'm reporting. Right. It's both my job, and I really love your work. So yes,
thank you.
I will be at the show. Thank you so much. I enjoy speaking with you. Unless you have any last words. Oh, tell the people exactly where your show will be. I know it'll be at UC Davis. It's at
the Mondavi Center. It will be at 7:30 on Friday, I think November 8th. There's still a few tickets available, sort of up in the upper, but you'll still see me. I'm a giant. I'm 6'4", so you'll see me no matter where you're sitting. But there's tickets available right now. So, and also if you want to learn more about what I'm doing, you can follow me on Substack. Go to Who's With Me. W. Kamau Bell asks Who's With Me, and you can follow all I'm doing on Substack. And
can we follow you on social media, just in case people don't know?
You can follow me at W. Kamau Bell on Threads, on Instagram. I think I'm on Spoutable, but I haven't been there in a while. And today I just announced that I'm retiring from Twitter after a long, successful run. So, yeah.
Did Elon get to you?
He's gonna be so busy running our economy into the ground. He's not gonna have time to deal with Twitter. So I got to step away before he runs Twitter into the ground.
I got you. Thank you so much. This has been wonderful. You've made my day. And I hope your day goes well. And I'll see you on Friday.
See you on Friday.
All right. Bye-bye. Can you stay on just a little bit when I end this so that it can load for me?
Sure.
Okay.